We'll move on to take a look at our level scheduler now, exiting from this screen. The level scheduler, as we indicated, is for the purpose of fine-tuning a particular level or phase. And this scheduler then displays the active level or phase for the entire training year. Just to take a quick tour of the screen, we've got our class filter here where we can select which level or phase that we want to take a look at. And we also have the PO filter, which allows us to select the PO that we need to work with if we're still scheduling something. And down here we have the PO/EO exceptions button, optional periods button, and PO search button to allow us to do various functions and activities, these functions and activities that affect this level or phase. One thing to note is that we don't have any of those special dates buttons here because they don't affect just this level or phase. So everything that we do in this screen affects only one level or phase at a time. Up here we have the EO information box. So if I click on an EO, any information pertaining to this EO will display up here. And we have the activities information box, which displays all the activities that are scheduled for the year here. We also have colored date fields. Some are orange, some are yellow. That indicates that there are events scheduled in and around these specific dates. And if we want to see the detail on that, we just double click or click into that colored date field, and we get the detail specific to that week. So it's a way of filtering that big long list. Orange dates, of course, indicate supported training days are involved in that list. All the other functions of this screen are very similar, if not exactly the same, as the initial scheduler, such as drop and drag and right click on a session number or date. We get the same parade night options, and they work exactly the same way. The only thing to note is that when you're doing any of these functions, it affects only this particular training level or phase. You also can't do any changes to activities or events that affect more than just this training level or phase. So once you complete your fine-tuning in the level scheduler, you can exit out. And at this point, we're not ready to make use of the master scheduler. That's something that you will begin to use as the start of your training year draws near. We're going to take a look at the verification report, exiting out of here, going into the reports and calendars menu item. And here we have the reports menu, and we're looking at this training verification report item right here. And we click on there. It indicates it's going to take some time for us to, and you get a little warning indicating that it might take a moment to produce the report. Here we have the training verification report produced in Excel format. And you'll notice at the bottom there are 3 tabs. The first tab, UTP corrections required, is exactly that. Any items flagged or identified on this tab are items that must be corrected. And once you go and make your corrections, you'll want to rerun this report to ensure that there's no other corrections required. On the next tab over, you'll click on that tab to access the information on that tab. The information on this tab is simply a scheduling summary, and as we scroll down to the bottom, we see a summary of different selections and where things are scheduled. I'm just going to scroll faster down. And at the very bottom here, we see some scheduling reminders that apply to your elemental program. And those are just a good thing to look at and be aware of those points and information as you head into that training year. Our last tab contains some summary information with your commanding officer's intent and your staff establishment summary. Once you're finished with the report, you can simply close it, and you know it's important that you go and make the necessary corrections and rerun the report to ensure that as you made those corrections, no further issues popped up, and that your required training corrections are taken care of. And once that is complete, you can exit out of the reports menu, and you're back here at the main menu, and this is kind of where you want to be when you are ready for your training plan submission. You've got no required corrections on your verification report, and the only status message you should have left at this time is this one indicating that Year 5 cadets can now be entered in the PO Wizard screen in the Year 5 Cadets tab. At this point, you are ready to submit your training plan. You will deal with the Year 5 cadets as you start your next training year. And in our next set of instructional videos, we will deal with the Master Scheduler and the remaining reports, as well as the Dashboard Manager. These are tools that you will use as your next training year starts.